Theta Pi says goodbye. Theta Pi says goodbye. Fuck. I am not as young as I used to be, folks. Man, I'm dizzy. I'm Joe Rhythm with the retro review of Sorority Row from 2009, one of the many remakes. It was just a quick cash grab on an original slasher, The House on Sorority Row. They didn't think that audiences in 2009 would be able to read the full title, so they just fucking cut it down to Sorority Row, threw in a little bit of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and so many other cliches, about 10,000 of them, and that was just in the first 20 minutes. And my god, from the acting, the one-note characters, the fucking, just cliches, the kills, the ridiculousness of it, and the fact that the killer, they tried to have it make sense, and it was just so fucking ridiculous. Everything about this movie was so fucking trashy, so fucking bullshit, such a fucking cash grab, and I fucking goddamn love every second of it. This is so fucking good. It's by no means a great movie, but I love every single goddamn second of it. When I saw this in theaters, I was like, this is one of the greatest trash heaps I've ever fucking seen. It's absolutely wonderful. And it's from the director of Max Steel. And yeah, I knew that I was in trouble there when I found out that was one of the only other big movies that he ended up doing a number of years later. It was based on the screenplay Seven Sisters. Two other people wrote the screenplay, and you could kind of tell it was a clash of ideas. And also, the studio was hoping that this would launch, a sequel, Sorority 2, Electric Boogaloo, and they even hinted at that at the end, but yeah, the cast, by the way, is a lot of pretty girls, some, really GQ guys, and a lot of fucking cliches. Also, Carrie Fisher was the overlord of the sorority house, the house mother, if you will. Brianna Avigan, who I believe is in the Step Up movies. Margot Harshman, who played the character of Chug. She was later McGee's girlfriend in a few episodes of NCIS. We have Rumor Willis, who was Ellie, the panic girl that, was all just, frightened all the goddamn time. Claire, Jamie Chung from one of the Fast and Furious, or a couple Fast and Furious movies. I actually lost track. Jessica, Leah Pipes. No, that's not a euphemism, even though it kind of sounds like it could have been an adult film star, Leia some Pipes. And then we have Adriana Partridge from, what the fuck was that goddamn series that she did? Was it The Hills? Was it The Hills on MTV? I think it was. Garrett, Matt O'Leary, and Maggie was Caroline D'Amore. There were a lot of, pretty girls in this, and it's really funny looking back on this and just thinking, my god, in 11 years, the technology has advanced so fucking much. Also, the guy that ends up being the killer, Julian Morris, plays the character of Andy, and yeah, Carrie Fisher steals the fucking show, and she's only in, I think, maybe 5 scenes. And if you're unfamiliar with the House on Sorority Row, basically the idea, and sorry, spoilers, the movie has been out for about 40 fucking years. A bunch of sorority sisters are upset at their house mother, so to speak. And, the woman's kind of a bitch, but, she also, has a reason to kind of be a bitch, because there's a couple girls that are kind of bitchy, including one that plays a prank on her by making her get in the pool and pretending to shoot her. But then it turns out there's actual bullets in the gun. She didn't know that. And the woman ends up dying. They cover it up, and they're like, okay, we bury her in the pool. We do all this kind of stuff, and it's kind of ridiculous, but it's also a pretty creative slasher. And then it turns out that there's somebody living in the attic, perhaps the son of the woman that does the killing, to basically get revenge, and it's pretty ridiculous, and it's 80s and so funny. And this movie's even more hilarious because they do everything wrong, yet somehow they think it won't come back to bite them, especially the character of Jessica, the fucking bitch. She's kind of like, the Rachel McAdams, character from Mean Girls. She's her. She's basically just her, and it's so fucking funny. So if you want to know the plot, you got a bunch of sorority sisters that are trying to play a prank on a guy named Garrett, who is the boyfriend of Megan. He cheated on her, and they'd play this thing where she got roofied, which isn't a joke, by the way. Don't fucking do that shit. Don't do that, no matter what gender you prefer. Don't fucking do that. If somebody says no, fucking just ease away. But anyway, they do this whole thing where she pretends to be dead, and then they're gonna take her to, they're basically trying to play a prank on Garrett. You cheat on one sister, you cheat on all of us. This is all during a fucking party that's going on. A party that's so fucking over the top. I swear half the budget, or at least a third of the budget, went to the goddamn party scenes because the music, the dubstep, whatever the fuck the music was. All the pretty girls in skimpy clothes and stuff like that, all the pretty extras. It's that, unknown Destiny's Child song. Anyway, they basically take her to, like, this lake area that's near a mine shaft. Because, of course, what mine shaft isn't near a goddamn lake? So fucking weird. But they're looking around for stuff, and they're still playing along with this trick, knowing that this guy's clearly unhinged, feeling bad that he killed her, even though he didn't. And he gets a tire iron. And after hearing that, there needs to be no air in the lungs, he stabs her. The woman that is playing dead, but is now dying. And she dies, and they make a pact. After dumping her body in the mine shaft, we're not going to do anything. And you have Cassidy, Brianna Vegan's character. Best looking girl in the cast, by the way. No disrespect to anybody else. But she's like, I don't want to be part of this. Well, we dumped him in your coat, you fucking bitch, and we make a pact. If he ever comes back, we're going to, come back here and kill him. Wait, that's it. I'm sorry, I confused that. This is I Know What You Did Last Summer, except there's like the one person who didn't want to do it, but they go along with it. Except there's a few more people, because we need a few more deaths. And then we go flash forward to 8 months later. They graduate. They're going to have a big old graduation party, and everything's good, even though Cassidy's kind of at odds with her sister. She's got a boyfriend, Andy. And not Andy, by the way, from Toy Story. But, she's getting along with him and everything, and she wants to tell him, but she doesn't, and everybody's been sworn to secrecy. According to Jessica, it's like, we're not going to tell anybody. Of course, it comes out later that they did tell somebody, and this movie just is absolutely fucking hilarious from there on. They get a message on their phones, their flip phones. That's how fucking old I feel. I was 28 when this movie came out. Now I'm shooting this on a freaking, beautiful S20, and, it's just funny looking at these phones like, man, that's where cell phone technology was. And that's the kind of phone I had, a few years before that. But it's just so funny looking at that stuff where you had to, like, hit the button multiple times to do texts. Texts took a lot goddamn longer because you kept having to hit the buttons for the, on the particular numbers just to, get them going. But anyway, they get this message, and the tire iron is found by somebody that is cloaked. They're holding this. Oh, no, shit. Megan's come back, or somebody's come back. Somebody knows that we killed Megan. Yeah, given the fact, even though they were isolated, they think it's Garrett. They think it's him. Like, he, is all crazy. Chugs, who is his sister, is like, my brother's crazy, but he's not going to do that. The acting, the dialogue, just the fact that they all separate to go off and, like, prepare for the party and everything. Because separating always works out well in horror movies. It's so fucking hilarious. The blood, the nudity. And yes, there is nudity in this for those of you that like that kind of thing. I do, so I personally enjoyed it. The crazy kills, which I'll get to in a bit. The party sequences, there were like, 2, 3 party sequences. And it's just fucking hilarious. The deaths, you get Megan, killed by the tire iron, obviously. Chugs goes to see her doctor, her therapist, who's gay, but she wants to get, oxy from him, some pills. And he's handcuffed because the session didn't go so well. And he goes, hey, wait a second. There's no reason why we can't, finish what my last patient didn't finish. And she goes and freshens up, even though the guy is gay. I mean, whatever floats your goddamn boat. I guess if you're a therapist, you can do whatever. And you do whatever. Like, get your patients to perform favors for you for pain pills. Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't do that shit. And then the doctor ends up getting killed. Even though he's handcuffed, he frees himself because somebody has come back with that tire iron, that is. Sometimes they come back. Sometimes they come back again. Sometimes they come back for more. I think that's the order they went in. Those movies fucking sucked. Moving on. And we only see a silhouette of him getting killed. Person throws it like a freaking shuriken. It's absolutely hilarious. A throwing star. Impales him on the goddamn head because there's a knife on it. Because why wouldn't there be? Why wouldn't the killer have done something like that? Why wouldn't Garrett do that? Except it totally wasn't fucking Garrett, because that would make too much sense. And then Chugs actually gets killed because she's like, oh wait, where's the doctor? What the fuck happened? I'm gonna lay on this freaking therapist bed, this couch, even though he disappeared, drinking wine, gets it shoved because she's a freaking drunk, gets it shoved down her throat, shattered and everything, and do I sound like I really enjoy this movie? Because I do, even though it's fucking shit. And it's funny, the character of Chugs actually was my favorite, and she was killed off like a third of the way through. Hard to believe she played McGee's girlfriend later. Pretty good actress, actually. And then later, the killings actually stop for a little bit, and we get more stuff with Cassidy and Andy, Jessica and her boyfriend Kyle, who's like, rich, yokel guy, son of a, senator or something like, a politician. She wants to basically marry up and, be the, wife of a rich guy, who wouldn't want to be that, especially a character like Jessica. And all the while, you got Ellie, who's freaking out. Remember Willis, she's freaking out and doing all this stuff, like, panicking, oh no, we know what we did. And Cassidy wanted to go to the police for a while, but she didn't, because her jacket was, all wrapped up, or her jacket was wrapped on this body. And, well, might not look too good, even though you would have a hard time after a bunch of, after many months, proving that was your fucking jacket. But whatever. Then you got James, you got Claire. Sorry, I'm losing track of the characters. You got Claire, and you got Jessica talking in the shower, and this one random girl hears, oh, they killed Megan. Oh no! Then she gets randomly killed in the shower. The second hardest penetration I've seen in a college shower room. You don't want to know about the first. So then Mickey, he's so fine, he blows my mind and actually got killed in a weird shaft. It was like one of those waiter, those dumb waiter things, where like the freaking, the old thing where you run a rope and you get, this does not look like I'm running a rope. And you get, people, you get dishes down, it's like a silly little elevator for dinner because people did not understand how electrics work. To be fair, back then, you just made rope work. It worked for Benoit. Moving on. Mickey ends up getting killed after basically drunkenly hitting on people. Tries to drunkenly hit on, somebody other than his girlfriend, Claire. And then Ellie sees him. Oh no, Ellie, please don't do that. You're panicked and everything. Please, I promise, that if you come out, we can all make it better. Then he gets killed, gets his bone snapped. Gross. And then gets killed in that shaft by getting stabbed, with that tire iron. That just happens to stay there, by the way. Apparently, the killer must have a whole bunch of them. Claire gets killed later after, more and more clues come out. They run into Megan's sister, Maggie. Pretty statuesque girl, actually, honestly. She looked taller than the rest of them. But she's like, well, where's Megan? I've always wondered. I'm going to pledge to the same college and my sister was at. My sister that was murdered. Even though I didn't know she was murdered, it's pretty obvious she was because she just disappeared. Nobody had a fucking clue where she went. And then she shows up. She kind of, berates Jessica and everything because Jessica's a bitch, but Maggie knows something, even though she doesn't quite know what she knows. And then from there, we just get some more fun. They basically get a message in 20 minutes. This goes to the police. So, oh no, we got to panic. We got to go back to the mine shaft. Hey, Cassidy, the one person who didn't want to be part of this, get down there. And, oh, I found the jacket, but not her body. Also, they found Garrett and then ran him over, or Jessica did, because it's like, oh, his wrists are bloody, he'd cut him and everything, and he was going to come after you. Clearly, that's, that's a clear-headed response to have. Just run somebody over. To be fair, if somebody's trying to stab one of your friends, I think you might want to do that. But then, they don't find her body, so they rush back to the party. Now, they had run into Maggie earlier. And then the party's done. There's an after party somewhere else. And clearly a much better sorority house, despite the fact the whole thing's shut. Now, all this time, you've got the house mother, Miss Crenshaw, played by Carrie Fisher, who is only in the first few scenes, and then suddenly shows up. Apparently, she's just back. She's been at this house the whole time. She shows up and, finds out what the hell is going on. And, Jessica says, we didn't mean to kill Megan. She's like, what? I'm talking about you trashing my house. Maggie hears this. How could you kill my sister? Boom, shotgun, because Carrie Fisher was a badass. Rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. Chewing the scenery here. And she says, get in the room, lock your doors. I'm going to go figure this out. Get on the phone. Get on one of your cell phones. One of your cell phones that you kids have these days. And then Crenshaw gets killed via impaling after Claire goes to try and shut up a hot tub with so many bubbles and gets killed with a flare gun. It is fucking hilarious. Jamie Chung choking on something hot. That was hard to say. And then Crenshaw actually tries to kill the guy with the shotgun. Doesn't work. The thing gets, stuck there. The thing with it's got a knife and a little, spike on it. And then she gets impaled on almost like a harpoon. And she gets killed. Don't you touch my girl. She tries to shoot him and then dies. She dies with dignity. Good stuff. And then Kyle basically gets in and tries to do all this stuff. I'm just spoiling everything because I fucking love this movie. But Kyle gets in, gets in the scene, just near the end. Ellie's panicking. Cassie's panicking. Jessica's like, well, we can wrap this up. let's get the phone from Mickey's body, Cassidy says. So she gets that, but Kyle's like, well, what the hell are you doing? You know, you were supposed to cover this up. It turns out that Jessica actually told Kyle about all this stuff. So he's been trying to help her cover it up. So obviously he's the killer. But then he's trying to kill everybody. She hits him with something, and then he gets an axe to the head. And it turns out that Andy, even though he said he had gone away and was going to wait for Cassidy, came back because he wanted to save her because he loved her, and he did it out of love. And then he kills Jessica because Jessica's like, this is good. This is fixable. And he just shoves the friggin' knife, you know, from the tire iron right through her goddamn head. Right through her mouth. Boy, that girl really needs to learn to keep her mouth shut. Man. And one funny line, by the way, from Carrie Fisher. I just gotta say, please don't think I'm afraid of you. I run a house with 50 crazy bitches. That is the most Carrie Fisher line from her. God damn, this movie, it sounds like I absolutely love. I love it for all the wrong reasons because it's so fucking bad. But you know, they basically, you know, Andy and Cassidy have a heart-to-heart. She's like, well, how could you do this? He's like, well, I've done everything. The thing is, though, with this, is like, okay, so he knew that she did this. He wanted her to come clean, and yet he killed out of love. I mean, if you can't trust the person that kills everybody that you love and everybody that you, you know, are acquaintances with, to prove that they love you, who the fuck can you trust? I mean, if that isn't love, it's not. It's insanity, but some people think it's love. And then the house is on fire during this whole time, by the way. House is on fire. Because of course it is. And, you know, basically, he says, well, we got to kill Ellie because she's going to talk. And then Cassidy and Ellie try to get out of there. And he's like, well, how could you do this? I freed us, all this stuff. Basically, he's trying to kill Maggie while this fire split right down the room because, well, let's just burn the sets down. We're not going to make a sequel. Sure as fuck aren't. $12.5 million budget. And a cumulative worldwide, it made $27.5 million. Now, it might have made more on DVD and Blu-ray sales, but I can't imagine it would have made enough to get a Sorority House 2, you know, The Empire Strikes Back. But anyway, actually, that was wrong. It'd be Attack of the Clones. Or Reloaded. Please not Reloaded. We don't need an architect in House on Sorority Row 2. So, and he's like trying to kill Maggie. Well, I'll take care of this if you would just hold still. And then Ellie, all scared Ellie, shoots him with a shotgun. He falls down, and he falls through the fire floor. It's like, ah, you know, it's just absolutely hilarious. And then Maggie, Cassidy, and Ellie are fine, despite being covered in blood and traumatized for goddamn life. And everything's all good. And then 15 months later, we see Maggie with all the other sisters saying, Theta Pi says goodbye, Theta. Oh, God, head trauma is not a good thing to do when you have, it's not a good thing to have when you do that. But they're doing all this, and there's gardeners working on the house. Apparently the house is just resurrected. I guess that college must have had an insane freaking amount of donors to save that house. And then they pan, and suddenly there's somebody with cut wrists. Oh no, Garrett's back somehow, despite getting hit and left for dead miles from town. But anyway, that was a hint for the sequel. The movie's fucking ridiculous. I mean, I spoiled everything, but it's fucking ridiculous. And I wanted to do this long review because I just want to talk about the fact that it's just amazing how absolutely astounding this movie is in its badness, yet it's so awesome at the same time. It gets an F for, like, fucking just awfulness. It's absolutely awful. It gets an A for entertainment. And it gets an A grade overall because it's just so bad in its awfulness. But it's like, if you just grade it, like, you know, like, as far as a cash grab and a remake, it's fucking shit. It's absolutely fucking shit, but I'm giving it an A because it's just so fucking hilarious. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.